Guys, welcome to English 303 Creative Writing. What we're going to do on this course is, first of all, hopefully we're going to have fun, and secondly, we're going to try out a couple of different methods of creative writing. We're going to go over some of the approaches to writing, some of the ways that you can find inspiration, and go over some tricks that you can use to make your own creative writing hopefully better, more interesting, more varied, and so on. I can honestly say that out of all the undergraduate courses I teach, creative courses seem to be the ones that most people enjoy. It's my first time doing creative writing, but I previously taught courses such as creative non-fiction. I also teach the literary internships, and I also do a fair bit of work on creative writing outside the university. I have published short stories, I've published poetry, and I run regular workshops in Larnaca and Nicosia. I've also worked on the poetry slam scene, which is growing in Cyprus for the last few years. So from all of that, I've had quite a fairly decent knowledge of creative writing techniques. Now, what this course specifically is going to be asking you to do is to work on your creative writing. And I do need to emphasize work, because this course is going to ask you to do a fair bit of writing and some regular work in your own time, of course. The reason I'm emphasizing that is that I really desperately need you guys to be keeping to the deadlines for this class, because your work depends on other students doing their work on time. So I'm going to run through some of the deadline stuff in a second, but just to emphasize, creative writing demands regular, hard work. You don't have reading to do, or not much reading to do for this class. You don't have that many formal assignments to do. You do have to do some work on your own time. And I'll talk more about this on the 14th of June, which is when we're going to have our first full-on teleconference. So the way that the course is structured, I've laid this out in the study guide, but I wanted to go through it face-to-face as well. Okay. So first of all, we're going to have 2 seminars every week. The first one is going to be on a Thursday night, and that's going to concentrate on introducing and analysing techniques or types of writing. So maybe, for instance, we might look at a particular type of poem, or we might analyse a short story from various angles to see how it works. Now, this is going to be different from the sort of analyses that you do in other classes. We're not really looking for to do a feminist gloss on a poem, or to examine the way that it contributes to an overall discourse or anything like that. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be reading as writers. We're going to be trying to look at the craft of writing, which means thinking about the decisions that a writer has made, because every word of every sentence of every paragraph of every page of any work of fiction is the result of multiple choices by an author, and we're really going to be thinking about what those are. This isn't a question of trying to find out intent. It's not why they did it, it's what they did and how it works. Now, having done that, you're going to have a writing prompt from me on the Thursday night, and you're going to have 4 days to work on and submit a first draft creative piece. Can I please emphasize, first draft? These pieces are not themselves going to be graded, and I'll talk about grading in a second. They are is rough work. Everybody knows it's rough work. Everybody knows you've only had a few days to work on it, and so if you aren't able to submit more than a page of writing, let's say, that's not going to be a problem, even less. If you're not happy with it, if you had to stop a short story early, that's fine. The important thing is getting it in on time. They have to be submitted by Monday midday every week. And then you have 2 days, that's Monday midday until Wednesday midday, to look at other students' work and provide useful feedback. I've given you a lot of tips in the study guide as to what useful feedback is. But really trying to help them understand what you see as the strengths, weaknesses, structural problems, style problems, whatever it is with their work. So you're going to be looking at other people's work and offering comments. Now that is graded. It's worth 2%. It's broken down more, and you can see that in the course outline, but it's worth 2% per time, up to 10 percentage points for you to be giving this feedback. So it is essential that, one, you submit work on Monday morning or before, and two, that you give in that feedback before Wednesday morning. If you don't give in your own work, you're taking chance away from other students to give feedback and taking the chance away from yourself. And if you don't give feedback to other students, you are going to lose marks directly. Okay, so that's really important. Then on Wednesday afternoons of each week, I'm going to have a teleconference where I will read your work out. Now, if you prefer to read your work, you can either attend the teleconference or you can record it like I'm doing now and upload it onto YouTube or onto the Blackboard platform. And I can toggle over so everybody can hear you reading your own work. It's up to you. I really don't have a preference for that. I will read through your work. I will comment on your piece. I will also comment on any feedback that you've received from other students. So I'll be talking about your feedback, which is graded, and the other stuff. And hopefully that will give you useful questions, tips, comments that you can use later on to revise the piece. And then from Wednesday afternoon through to Thursday night, you have time to read some literary materials if you have the chance to. It's not essential. We can probably do the Thursday evening seminars without reading the work too much in advance. And then you can go through and we'll start on the teleconferencing again. Okay, so it's a strong, tight schedule for this semester. You have at least 2 days for each assignment, some of them 4, so you have time, but it's not like with other classes where you have weeks to plan and build an essay. None of the creative work that you produce during the body of the seminar will be assessed by itself. Rather, what will be assessed is a portfolio that you give me at the end of the semester, and that will contain each creative piece that you've done, and then for 3 of them, a revision and an explanation of that revision. It is those 3 revised pieces and the short essays you write explaining what choices you've made in revising them that will actually be graded. Okay, so the other thing to bear in mind about this class is that you hand me your portfolios on the 31st of July. You won't receive any grades before then, but you will get continuous feedback from me through the semester, which will hopefully give you an idea of where to go and how to improve your work. I also want to talk quickly about workshopping, because that's what we're doing here, is sort of sharing work and discussing it in very early, raw stages. And people can get a bit sensitive about that. It's scary to have someone look at and comment on your work when it's not a private space. But it's really important that you do this. Okay, workshop is something that people have been doing in creative writing classes forever. And the reason for that is that what you're doing in creative writing is you're trying to affect readers, multiple, different, unusual readers. Getting feedback from multiple people is the most useful thing that you can get. It helps you with assessing your own work, and also the act of giving feedback helps you assessing the work of others, which is also useful. I know that some of you either are teachers or want to be teachers. This is a useful skill to be practicing there. Okay, so it's for that reason that feedback is worth 10 percentage points of this final class. Your portfolio of creative writing is worth 40% of the final class, and then there's a final project you'll work on, which includes the final exam, and that's worth 50%. I'll get to the final exam later on in the semester. Okay, so in the course outline, and especially in the study guide, you'll find a lot of advice on how to write, how to give feedback, how to assess your own work. Do have a look at those over this week, and I will see you all on Thursday, the 14th of June at 9 o'clock for our first discussion, which will be of poetry and form. Until then, if you've got any questions, ask me in the discussion forums. Thank you very much. Goodbye.